Welcome to the House of Bob Actual Play Podcast. Today you'll be joining Dan, Shaun, and Shubert as they play Fiasco. This episode, the guys are playing through an extra special homebrew scenario created by Shubert that takes place in the Star Wars universe.
I'm Dan. I'll be playing Teebo, a Jedi Master with a newly assigned Padawan.
I'm Shubert. I'll be playing Squib, the Padawan from the swamp planet of Florblaria.
I'm Shaun, and I'm playing as Zlippa, a Rhodian merchant with a dark secret.
The House of Bob is made possible by support from listeners like you. If you want to support the show, visit patreon.com/thehouseofbob.
Roll on!
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the Clone Wars have ended, and the newly minted Emperor has issued a galaxy-wide bounty on the heads and lightsabers of the vilified Jedi Knights and their apprentices. As fear and distrust grow throughout the galaxy, one Jedi Master, Teebo, and his apprentice, Squib, search for a safe haven. The Jedi find themselves aboard a passenger vessel as it is stopped by an Imperial blockade.
I'm Shubert. I'm playing Squib, the Florblarian Jedi Padawan. I have a relationship with Dan's character.
Named Teebo.
Dan's character, Teebo. We have a Force relationship. We are Padawan and Jedi Master, making Teebo my master.
Yep.
We also have a location between us, which is among the stars. And the detail on that location is an Imperial blockade. So we'll see how that comes up. Between Shaun's character, Zlippa, and myself, our relationship is happenstance. And one of us is a con man, and the other is the con man's mark. I have a feeling I am the mark. And a need attached to that relationship is the need to hide from a Jedi Knight.
I'm Shaun. I'm playing Zlippa, the Rhodian. He is a star-traveling bounty hunter, currently here on a work-related assignment. He is bounty hunting someone or something related to Dan's character, Teebo. There's an object that is important between the two of us, and it is a double-bladed lightsaber.
It's dope. All right.
Double dope.
Yeah, double dope. I'm Dan. I'll be playing Teebo. He is a Jedi Master with his Padawan, whatever his name is. I should write this down.
Squib.
Squib. Yeah. What the fuck's your name again? All right. Give me a water.
Oh boy. It's a great relationship that we have. What do you want?
Getting flashbacks to an airplane.
Yeah,
And
let's not have any drugs.
the only
in
thing
this
we
episode.
didn't mention was that me and Squib have a location between us, which is an Imperial blockade. And that's that. We're ready to boogie.
When do we want this set, or does it really matter?
When?
Depends if you're setting up or
present day.
So not a long time ago in a galaxy.
Oh yeah,
far, far
it's
away.
definitely a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was thinking,
the
like,
question is whether you want to start at the Imperial blockade and then we time jump later.
yeah, we could do that.
Like
That would be a
establish a
good-
scene between you and your relationship, and
That would
maybe
be a good place to start. Actually, good idea. I think I'll do that for my first scene. Do we want to say like whether this takes place like in any specific Star Wars time
Hey,
period?
man,
Doesn't matter.
You get to choose.
Well, no, there's
Because
a
you're
rebel.
literally starting the first scene.
Somebody's. Oh no, we didn't do rebel and
There's an Imperial blockade.
yeah. So it's Empire time. So
This
that's
is
all.
true.
That's all we need to know.
So
Okay.
think like,
All right. I don't think it's super important though.
yeah,
anyway,
it's like OG
right?
series.
It's just like a story that takes place sometime in Star Wars.
Exactly, and there's no Skywalkers involved.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So, first scene. We open on...
Are you establishing?
Oh, yeah, I am establishing.
Okay. I assumed.
We open on a gigantic Imperial starship. the camera pans past for a long time. Just keeps going. And eventually we zoom out and see that there are dozens of these humongous ships. We zoom in on one of these ships. Inside, in a darkened corridor, dimly lit by flickering lights, is a Padawan master and his young...
A Padawan master?
Fuck. He's the master of Padawans.
I guess. Yeah. I'm the tippy top of all the Padawans.
Let me say that again. Inside is a Jedi master and his young Padawan student. So we have Dan's character Teebo and my character Squib in here. And I don't think that Shaun's character Zlippa will be in here quite yet. But if you want to play any like side characters in here.
I got a good stormtrooper voice.
Okay, sweet. Was that it?
If you plug your nose, you sound just like a stormtrooper talking through the speakers.
That's true.
Sweet. Okay, so Squib and Teebo, the camera kind of zooms in on their faces, and Squib just looks kind of terrified. You can see on Squib's swampy looking face that they're just way over their head. And Squib looks up at Teebo for guidance and reassurance.
All right.
What is happening?
Jesus.
Why are we here?
So this is.
I want to talk normally, Jesus.
That's fine. I'm not going to do the full Rodian voice.
All right.
I have a thought here, which is that if this is an Imperial blockade, one of our things is to hide a Jedi Knight. This could be like the Jedi Hunt or the Order 60 post to Order 66.
But Teebo wants to hide in plain sight, though.
Right.
So Teebo puts his hand on your shoulder, or whatever you call a shoulder. He puts it on one of your body parts, whether it's appropriate or not. He assumes it is.
Okay, it's like covered in algae.
Yeah, okay. All right, Squib. This is a perfect opportunity for you to practice your influence.
Who am I influencing?
Obviously, the stormtroopers. This is a blockade, so they're going to be coming in, checking to see who's on here and what we're up to, and you need to practice. This is a perfect opportunity for you to influence them and slip past their blockade. So I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to let you try it, and if it goes really poorly, then I'll step in.
Oh, but I'm really scared.
I don't care.
You guys hear over the intercom of the ship. I'm thinking you're probably on like a trade ship or something that is moving between. They're like stopped by the blockade, and over the intercom you hear, "Attention, citizens of the Empire. This is Admiral Aquana. You are currently being boarded by legions of stormtrooper or soldiers. Provide for them your identification papers, and you shall be allowed to pass through unhindered. Any tomfoolery, and you'll be gunned down like a dog. Over and out."
Goodbye.
And then you guys hear as the a set of doors down the hallway open, and you see a troop of stormtroopers walk through, and they're like,
Did you guys catch that new episode of The Wire last night? I mean, man, it was really good. Yeah, I never thought I would learn so much about the Tashi station, but it was really cool how they reinvented it for our timeline and universe instead of.
Squib is just in the corner looking really terrified, and none of the stormtroopers have noticed him yet.
All right, and Teebo gently gives you a nudge forward. He's like, "Get your papers ready. Get them out."
a line forms of a bunch of other people who are in this like giant I think it's like a passenger ship or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
They're just going to walk through us
Right.
and check
Okay.
all of our.
Yeah, so the stormtroopers are going like person to person and
Gotcha.
checking identification papers, and some people they kind of like shove off to the side, handcuff them, and some people they just let go.
All right. And this is when Teebo looks down. He's like, "Oh, you have your lightsaber on you. Let me just take that."
But I like to use it to zap people.
Jeez, got the worst Padawan. This is a true test for Teebo. So Teebo is going to actually duck out of the line now with both of our lightsabers in hand. Maybe you don't have a lightsaber. Maybe it's
It's like a training lightsaber.
Yeah, let's say it's a training lightsaber. So it's
Yeah.
but it's definitely like identifiable as a Jedi tool.
Yeah. But it's like the baby training version of the lightsaber.
It's just a foam foam noodle.
Yeah, an extendable foam
like
noodle.
I see this as maybe like a punishment for Teebo, this like assignment taking on this Padawan.
It definitely could be. Like maybe I screwed up on my last one. He's he's very
You're like,
promising, and I like tossed him away.
And now you're getting like a starter.
Yeah. So I'm gonna duck out of line while they check your credentials and stuff, and I'm gonna hide around the corner or something.
All right, little swamp creature. Where's your identification papers?
Yeah, right here. Here you go, sir.
Okay, here.
I believe they're all in order.
Line number 1, right here. It says your name is Squib.
That's right.
So far, so good.
What's your name?
That is unimportant. I have not thought of one.
Stormtroopers don't have names.
Your race is Florblarian. Gross. And says here,
I get that a lot.
occupation, Jedi Padawan.
Did I say Jedi Padawan? No.
You look behind you and you see Teebo just glaring like eyes like into you. Like, come on, man.
That's supposed to say
And then wave your tentacle.
Gemini Pantheon. Because that's where I'm from. I'm from the Gemini Pantheon system. So that makes a lot of sense.
And you see Teebo just gesturing behind you, waving a hand.
Yeah.
Waving a hand.
It makes sense. And Squib is waving a tentacly hand.
So the stormtrooper's looking at your identification papers, and looks up at you, looks back at the papers, and
We should resolve this.
one of his
Yeah.
hands begins to go towards his blaster when a tall greenish blue Rhodian creature comes up, throws an arm around your shoulder, and is like, says to the stormtrooper, "Now hold on here just 1 second. This is obviously a miscommunication. You see, where this young man is from, young they is from, is it's Halloween, and in poor taste, he dressed up as a war criminal for Halloween. I just, he's obviously not a Jedi Padawan. Look at him. They would never. Oh my God. Really, sir, this is not what you think it is. It's just a harmless prank joke gone wrong."
Sorry, who is this talking?
This is Zlippa.
This is Zlippa
okay.
that just
so you
pulled up.
stepped in. Nice. Okay.
So you guys get to choose how this resolves for
so
my character.
We get to give him either a positive dice or a negative
It
dice.
sounds like it was positive because Zlippa came in and helped.
So that's going to be the end of that scene. So you can give him one of the orange dice.
So I get a positive die, and I'm going to give that to one of you, and I'll give it to Shaun.
Okay.
For saving your ass.
So you have one positive die. So one thing that I should say about the dice quickly is that ideally you want to get the best ending for your character. You want to have all of one color of die.
Okay.
Either positive, all positive, or all negative.
Yeah,
Right.
So the fact that you have one
does the
positive
number on
die,
them matter?
no, it doesn't. Because
I thought it did.
you roll them
Oh,
later.
it's just plus one or minus one, or whatever, right?
You'll roll them together later for the
Oh,
tilt
yeah,
and the
yeah.
aftermath. But
So maybe just to finish up that scene,
Mhm.
so the
Yes, finish up that
stormtrooper's
scene.
hand still hovering over his blaster, looks up and down at the papers again, looks at Zlippa, looks at Squib, looks at his buddy behind him, and then hands the identification papers back to Squib. His hand comes away from the blaster. They move on to the next.
He's like whispering, that was in poor taste.
Can't believe it. It's like just awful.
So offensive.
So offensive.
Talking about.
We can all
Kid's
do
terrible
it.
Halloween costume.
And they move along. Squib and
Of course they move along.
Squib and Zlippa breathe a sigh of relief.
And Teebo looks down in shame.
I'm sorry, master.
All right, next scene.
Yep. I'm going to resolve this one.
He's going to resolve it, so we have to set up the scene.
Yeah,
So it
you can
doesn't-
either
yeah.
do an entirely different area.
Yeah,
or-
it doesn't need to take place right after that if we don't want it to.
Yeah, you could even say that was all of the blockade for us because it sounds like we got past.
Actually, since we kind of talked about this, we could have it be like a further flashback, sort of. Like this doesn't need to be a flashback, the Imperial blockade. That's just the beginning.
Yeah.
But we do a flashback to the Jedi Council where
I'm being assigned.
where
yes.
Teebo is
Okay.
being assigned
Okay.
Squib.
All right.
Because
Totally.
I feel like we need to make
Establish that rapport.
Yeah.
So a screen wipe flashes across the screen, revealing the city skyline of the city planet of Coruscant. There are like flying ships all over the place and like flying cars zipping back and forth. And like in the distance, you see the Jedi temple rising above the city, still in pristine condition. This is obviously before Order 66 occurred. The camera pans in to the Jedi Council chambers where all the masters are arrayed in front of Master Teebo, standing in the middle. And you can see that all of the Jedi Masters that you've come to know and love are there. Kiadi Mundi, Mace Windu, Yoda, they're all there. And they look very, very disappointed with Teebo.
Yeah, their brows are just furrowed, and they look at Teebo with disappointment.
Uphold the tenets of the Jedi Order. You have not.
Sweet.
Problems you must resolve. You must.
Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
Always finish the sentence, so it sounds like it's not going to end. That's the trick for
Your
Yoda.
inflection implied you were going to say, okay. All right. Teebo stands there for a sec and was just like expecting more. And then he, actually, is that all you guys wanted to do to establish it? Is that fine?
The Jedi next to Yoda says,
In your best Samuel Jackson voice.
Here we go. All right. Make your voice deeper. I don't know.
Deeper, talk like a badass.
Yeah. Say motherfucker.
Same quote scripture. He doesn't seem like he wants to do it.
well, give me a chance. Yoda speaks for all of us.
All right. Teebo looks around the room and he realizes everyone's, I guess, disappointed in him. What happened basically was his last Padawan, unfortunately, got himself mixed in some illegal stuff, and I wasn't there to stop him. And now my Padawan is deceased. He died in a blaze of glory, and I have to be reassigned to a new Padawan.
The failures of your past must not be repeated. Your Padawan strayed to the dark side. We worry that this is because of the influence of his master. And
I can't stop people from getting influenced by con men. Sometimes they're just too good. He was too simple-minded. I need someone smart.
it is not the Padawan's job to hold all the wisdom. It is the master's job to impart the wisdom upon the Padawan.
And he like smacks you with his staff.
Wow.
This new Padawan will continue to be a challenge for you.
All right. I accept the challenge.
And I guess
I
you're
usher out of the
resolving-
room or whatever. All right. I leave the room and I head down the hallway to where the trainees are, and I actually get to observe them in their they're practicing combat at the moment. So everyone has their little foam noodles out, and they're just swinging away. And I'm observing this
these
blob of a creature just flailing around with no finesse.
But beside him, you see just like a pillar of excellence.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh God, I hope it's him. Oh my God. What a dreamboat.
Look at that
The
hair.
perfect Padawan. The perfect Padawan.
I'm gonna.
Then I approach him.
You
and
need to take a seat. we cannot include you going, oh, that's the perfect Padawan. What a dreamboat. These are children.
They don't have
They
to
might be teenagers.
Yeah.
No, they are. I see this.
Okay, you're a teenager. All right.
You pull up. We're still establishing here, right?
All right, yeah.
Let us
Sure.
establish. Damn it.
All right.
So you pull up. Teebo walks up to this room, and you see all these Jedi Padawan training, and these are the freshest of recruits. These are all kids of different ages from all different worlds, and you see some of them are clearly very skilled. There's a reason that they've been brought here to the temple, and is this a temple? The Jedi Council.
Yeah, Jedi
the temple. And they are all training, but you do see one creature who's just flailing around, and you just hope to God, hope to who do we have here for religion in this
The Force?
universe? You hope to the Force. You pray to the Force that you don't wind up with this kid.
But deep down inside, Teebo knows. He knows it's him.
So you're resolving this scene.
Yeah. So Teebo, kind of feeling an intuition, knowing that this is most likely going to be his Padawan. He has a sense about it. So he approaches Squib, who he assumes to be Squib, and he introduces himself. Hello, are you Squib?
Yes. Hello. I'm Squib. How did you know that?
I know these things.
Oh.
All right. Squib, it's you and me. Come with me.
Where are we going?
You're my Padawan now. It's time for you to learn.
That's really exciting.
It is for you, yes.
I'm going to be such a good Padawan.
I guarantee it. When I'm done with you, you're going to be the greatest Jedi Knight of all time.
Oh, wow.
Of all time.
Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker is like 5 feet behind him.
Yeah,
like,
just destroying shit.
deflecting blaster bolts with a pool noodle.
With a blindfold on.
With a blindfold on.
And Squib trips on the way out.
Squib trips on the way out.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
I think that seems like a good cap to that introduction.
Totally.
Ow, I slipped.
Get up, Squib. Get up.
Okay.
I think-
Is that the first lesson?
What do we get? What do we do when we fall?
I think that was a good ending, a good scene, right? He's like hopeful.
I have a Padawan.
It's not technic like
Do we don't.
Well, no. I think it is positive.
Yeah.
I think Teebo, like it's positive for Teebo, but Teebo doesn't necessarily see it as positive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a positive die for
So
you, Dan.
you
Okay.
give that away.
All right, I'm going to give it to Squib.
Because he was resolving. Got you.
Yes. And now it is.
It's just because it was my scene, I
Oh.
believe.
So that's the end of scene
Yeah.
2.
Oh.
Now it is scene 3.
Mhm.
Zlippa.
So I'm going to take us back to present day, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, back on the Imperial blockade, where Zlippa, with his arm around Squib, is making his way through the crowd, attempting to get him further away from the stormtroopers. And he's just like, you know what, kid? You just can't like go around telling stormtroopers that you're a Padawan. It's really not a good idea. Here, let's go over here and get a drink. He takes you over to a bar, and there's a 6-arm bartender just like sloshing out beer and ale and like weird toxic sludge into various glasses. He's like, "What are you gonna have, kid?"
He's a little young for this.
Well,
Just saying.
holy shit, where'd you come from?
Yeah, Teebo slips in behind you, and he actually manages to be between you two now. So he's literally,
He kind of
he's at the bar between you two.
Like, stealthily slips
Like
his way in between
Yeah.
us.
with his arm around
like a
Squib.
like a mother hen.
Hi, I don't think we met.
Pleased to meet you. My name is Zlippa. I am a Rhodian businessman here, business they here on the ship, attempting to, just do some business as I go from planet to planet. I specialize in import exports. Do you have anything you need imported or exported?
Not at the moment, but I want to thank you for what you did for Squib.
Oh, I could tell that he was about to get himself in a whole bunch of trouble. So I just wanted to,
I would have been there to back him up, but I'm glad that you stepped in regardless. That was very kind of you.
Well, it's the non-violent solution.
Exactly. That's what we aim for.
Right? Yeah. If they had drawn their blasters, you would have been lightsabers out. With those things swinging around, there's a lot of innocence in here.
Very true.
I had my lightsaber taken away.
Who got your lightsaber there, Squib?
My Jedi Master.
Hey, Squib, we don't use that word here.
Wait, I mean, my Gemini. I will have a water.
And the bartender's like, one water coming right up. Slams down a glass, pours this perfectly clear H2O over to you.
Ew. It's so clear.
Yeah. I take out one of those Dasini things and it looks like sludge when I drip it into your water.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just enhances it up.
Yeah. Is that how you drink?
Yeah.
Oh.
Zlippa watches in absolute disgust and fascination.
Yeah. Teebo's used to this now, but he still averts his eyes.
Averts his eyes
whenever you
out of habit.
Yeah. I mean, he can be used to it. He doesn't have to like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, look, my understanding is that you guys want to get through this blockade, unhindered. In the import export business, I have my ways of doing this. If for a very simple low fee of 12 installments of 999 credits, I can get you to the planet's surface.
Well, that sounds wow. That sounds perfectly reasonable.
All right, Squib, this is why I hold your money. Why I hold your credits. Maybe we can work out something mutually beneficial that doesn't rely on credits.
That sounds fantastic. Mutually beneficial is always good.
Because it's mutual.
What do you need?
I need anything that makes life easier for me, really. Usually that's money, but maybe we'll find something along the way.
But why are you really here? What's your true purpose?
That's a really deep question, Squib, and I don't know if you should ask somebody that on their first date.
Oh, I didn't.
Buy me a drink first.
I carry his money.
I'm not allowed to partake in alcoholic beverages
or economics. I assume.
I don't even know what that means.
All right,
Teebo.
Yes.
Starting them a little young now, aren't you?
Let's not go down this path.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean in the business of the thing that you business in. He doesn't know what economics is. He can't have drinks.
I'm not sure. Are you just implying that he's a very young Padawan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a wartime.
Yep, and many of our good ones have died.
Shouldn't he be playing with action figures?
You would think. He still does.
Cut to Squib, who is down, but he's been told that to kind of not be a part of this conversation. So he's pulled out some action figures.
Yeah, you're literally sitting on the floor, playing with stuff.
Okay, so to finish the establishment of the scene, as we're at the bar having this introduction, this discussion, another announcement comes on over the intercom, and it says,
Attention, this is Admiral Aquana. I have determined that your ship carries an excessive amount of contraband and non-human life forms. Prepare to be exploded.
Oh, Jesus.
And then like a panicked cry goes up among the crowd, and suddenly the ship rocks as it is hit by like a super laser or something.
Okay, so me and Shubert get to kind of establish now how this is going to...
You get to resolve this,
resolve.
this scene.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to resolve getting exploded, but
we're getting attacked is what we're...
Squib hears this announcement and just starts crying. He's leaking fluids from every orifice.
All right. And
just osmosis.
Yeah.
Osmosis,
it's just a natural, it's kind of like a grease trap. So now you're really hard to like get a hold of.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah. It's a natural defense mechanism.
All right. So Teebo will look at Zlippa and be like, well, now's that time for probably mutually exclusive like benefit. That's not how I want to word that, but how it can be.
We're not exactly exclusive yet. We haven't shook hands on it.
All right, and I don't know what we're shaking on, but
we're both going to get out of this alive.
Sounds good. And then I shake on that.
I also shake on that.
Squib puts his tentacle in.
They both cringe away.
Yeah, we lift our arm a little higher.
Why do people always do that?
It's because of your natural musk.
Mm.
All right, that seems like a good place to cap it.
The handshake of mutual
us agreeing
agreement.
that we're gonna work together to get out of here.
Okay. There is I would say
That seems negative. We just got shot.
Yeah, we just
at.
got shot. So I'm gonna give this to you because you don't have any dice yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll take it.
So this is Squib's second scene.
Establish or
I'm going to resolve because I
Okay.
don't really know what to do here.
that's true.
I'm cool with like staying on the blockade, but I feel like eventually it'd be fun to move on from that too.
Yeah, we don't.
Well, we'll get out of here somehow. I think.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have to
for sure.
I think the end point is we get to safety or we don't.
Yeah, we'll do that in
Yeah.
the next.
Yeah.
Well, if
scene
we
or the
all
next,
just
I think.
explode, it's going to be over very quickly. But yeah.
We become part of the force. Our particles float
Yeah.
up and
Um,
metachlorians.
well,
and shit.
there's-
Okay, so you want to
There's
resolve.
always
You
escape
want to
pods.
resolve
Yeah,
this
so
one. Okay.
you and me get to establish.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we're still on the ship.
Yeah.
I
think this is immediately after.
It's not
We're
Assassin's Creed. You're not going to cut away and show an entirely different character during the exciting part.
No, that's dumb.
Right. So the ship is currently like there's fire off on the side, smoke pouring through the area. There's like crates just like all
people
over
are
the place.
falling over.
People are falling
Yeah.
over the crates. We've got people running back and forth. There's stormtroopers that are like, shit,
Oh my God! They blew up the ship, and we're still on the ship. What are we supposed to do? Blast them!
okay. And they just start blasting people.
Yeah, they die first.
Yeah.
All right.
For the Empire.
And Teebo tosses tosses the lightsaber to Squib, his practice one. Like
The training.
yeah,
like,
the training one, it can still
noodle.
deflect. It can still deflect laser bolts though.
Right.
And then Teebo pulls out his double-bladed lightsaber.
And Zlippa pulls a small holdout blaster from inside his jacket, and he, as he sees the lightsabers get kind of like pulled out by you guys and they ignite, he's got this like glint in his eye. Kind of, Teebo and Squib don't quite see it, but he's like salivating over this rare artifact.
Yeah, the rarest of rare.
This is going to be a huge bounty for Zlippa.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And Teebo's like, we have to get to the escape pods.
I think that they're over on level 4. It's that way to the left and then up 2 steps.
Two floors?
Levels.
Okay.
Floors, levels,
Yeah, up 2 levels.
stages.
All right. I say we go right up. And then Teebo jumps onto the ceiling and starts carving a giant circle in the ceiling.
I've
Holy-
seen him do this before.
Holy shit. I can't fly, guys. The ceiling is like 12 feet high. How are you going to get up there, Squib?
He's holding onto my legs.
That wasn't established. How are you clinging to the ceiling without your legs?
Without my legs? There's stuff on the ceiling. I'm just holding onto like a pipe or something.
Oh, wow.
I got really good jump.
Zlippa starts like looking around for a ladder.
I'll drop you something in a second. Just let me cut this hole first.
All right. So as
You just defend me.
So as you're like carving a hole in the ceiling, a bunch of stormtroopers are like shooting just randomly, and then a few of them see Zlippa, start firing at him. Zlippa ducks behind a bench and is like there to popping up, pops off a couple shots, ducks down back for cover. Sparks are flying all over the place.
All right, and then you see a large metal disc fall down behind you, and
This
Teebo
clang.
disappears.
And at this point, Zlippa is thinking that they've left him.
Squib is
so much
actually
for all
with
of
you
this.
still. He didn't jump on my leg. That'd be dumb.
Quit changing your mind.
Sorry. I thought we did with it not established.
What are you doing here? I thought
Yeah.
you were up there.
Yeah, after very harrowing 30 seconds of crossfire and you defending with lightsaber.
Squib. Zlippa like dives behind a bench or something.
Yeah.
And Squib just like caught in the middle of the hallway, has his training lightsaber out, and all these lasers just keep firing at him, and they just all hit the lightsaber. And
He doesn't move the lightsaber.
He's not moving it at all. He's just shaking.
Yeah.
And they all just hit the lightsaber and get deflected off, and it's kind of getting like pushed
And you've
further
actually-
and further back.
Yeah, you've taken out like 3 stormtroopers with this method.
Yes.
And then after a brief
Stance of
time,
stone.
I'm really good at this.
you see a cable lowered from behind you from the hole.
Zlippa fires off another shot, manages to clip a stormtrooper across the shoulder, and turns around to see the rope. And he grabs it and starts climbing. And he looks back and he sees Squib on the ground, attempting to deflect these shots. And he has this like moment of like, maybe I should say something. And then there's
He's not sure if he wants to like help or save Squib.
yeah. He's like, if it'll be easier if Squib's not there, maybe.
Right.
But then an explosion knocks part of the wall explodes out, and Squib gets knocked down to the point where he's facing towards Zlippa. Now Zlippa has no choice.
Squib, let's go. Come on. It's time to go.
And then he like clambers the rest of the way of the rope and ascends into the next level with Teebo.
Mm-hmm. And Squib follows.
Squib grabs Zlippa's hand, and they all go up to the next level, which I don't know. What's an interesting?
So that was
a whole party of stormtroopers.
So that was like, okay, so
or all the families or something.
well, that could be part of your resolution too. Like
Yeah.
the first level that we were on was like the passenger
Yeah.
area of the ship.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what else would be in a ship?
Yeah.
What's
So we're in
the
the supply room or something, or
The engine room.
or the ammunition.
The
or
armory,
The armory.
the armory
where
on this
all
bus.
the weapons are.
Nice.
Yeah, for this bus. They're not very good weapons.
Well, this is the contraband they obviously found.
Oh yeah, the
yeah,
contraband.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, Squib grabs Zlippa's hand. They go up a level to the
Like a cargo bay, basically.
to a cargo bay just filled with contraband.
like rebel weapons.
Webel Weapons.
Webel weapons.
Are you guys making fun of me?
Not at all. This is just how we talk about rebels.
It's fun to say.
Webel weapons.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Sounds normal to me.
All right. Cool. I think that that's
okay.
positive in my mind.
So we've kind of escaped from the stormtroopers. The ship is still going down, but
Yeah.
we know that there
Yeah.
is a cache of rebel supplies on the ship.
Yeah, I would say that's positive. We've gotten away from the barrage of stormtroopers all assaulting us.
Yeah.
And we're on a new level.
Okay.
And I give this to, I guess Zlippa helped me out there.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
By accident.
All right. I'm going to establish this scene. Okay. So Teebo, Zlippa, and Squib. Right.
You did
nailed
it.
it.
You
Yeah.
did it.
Okay, we're all in this room. There's nobody else in sight. Seems to be only one exit out of here, and we're surrounded by rebel contraband. So on the walls, you'll see like lots of weapons and stuff like that, your kind of typical blasters and all that kind of jazz. But on another wall, you'll see all these like data cubes and stuff like that. And judging by that, you can tell it's like obviously important intel. So knowing this, Teebo's going to gather up a bag and he's going to start filling everything up. And he's going to command Squib as well to just start taking as much as he can in the data cubes.
Yep, Squib complies. He grabs the bag and he just starts filling it with whatever he sees in front of him.
And he's ignoring like Zlippa like entirely and just letting him do his own thing. Is just like Teebo knows this is actually almost more crucial than his own life, so he's going to gather what he can, and then the three of them are going to head towards the door, or at least the two of them, Squib and Teebo, are heading towards the door now.
Squib says, "Is this considered stealing?"
No, not at all. This is important to the rebel cause.
Oh, okay.
Zlippa doesn't gather any of the data cubes. He does take a blaster rifle so that he has something to defend himself.
A little
with.
heavier firepower.
And he sticks with you guys. He's following you through the door. And when you guys go through the door, he checks both ends of the hallway. Coming through the door, he's doing like he obviously looks trained to you with a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Probably at this point, he's not able to hide that anymore from you.
Yeah, I saw you like load the ammo and everything like that and set it up to like burst fire or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Teebo makes a mental note of it and he's like, oh, this guy's more capable than he's let on for sure.
Totally. What's in this next hallway? Do you want to kind of like not scene jump, but like transition a little bit?
I'm thinking this is more of a training moment for Squib.
Teachable moment.
Yeah, teachable moment.
Teachable moment.
Yeah. All right. So, let's say at the end of the hallway, there's like a riot of just passengers. They're all trying to get up the stairs or something along that line, and they're all pushing, and people are falling down and getting trampled on and stuff like that. And you see innocent children and things like that getting injured and the like. And so Teebo turns to Squib and he's like, "Now's your chance to show me what you're capable of. I want you to calm this group down, and then I want you to get everyone in an orderly fashion to the next level." Do you think you can do that, Squib?
Probably not.
There's only one way to find out, Squib, and we're going to try. I'll help you along the way. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. So that'll be my setup for this scene.
Cool.
Beautiful. So yeah, you lead Squib over to this this kind of stairwell of people, and there's people just falling down everywhere, and you kind of help a couple of people up along the way. And Zlippa is here, but he's just got his rifle on him and kind of eyeing the crowd. And Squib goes over to the crowd and he just goes, "Excuse me. Excuse me." And everybody's just completely ignoring him entirely. And he just kind of looks back at Teebo like, "I did my best."
Yeah. And Teebo's like, "You have to have a commanding presence. Use your voice."
"Excuse me."
And you see like 5 or 6 people turn around and give you their attention.
"Hi, my name is Squib. What are all your names?"
And
Oh my God.
they turn. They're like, "No, this is not happening. We're trying to escape." And they turn and they start to crush back into the crowd, moving away from you.
This is Teebo's time to help.
All right.
He said he said he would guide him.
Teebo steps in and he makes a wide stance, and he takes his hand and he shoots it out, and he pushes one half against the wall and the other half against another wall, and forming them into like an orderly line.
You physically force both of these groups of people.
I force push them into, I do like I'm like parting the wave, you know?
Yeah, like a gust of air that kind of sorts them out into orderly lines.
They're literally like almost held in place by what I'm doing. And then I usher the two of you like down the path that I've created.
You're just letting us go first.
I'm staying behind,
Okay.
but I'm letting you guys get ahead.
All right. So Zlippa will move forward into the crowd, looking around at all of these like stasis frozen people as they're like crushed up against the walls, and he's like, "I is this Jedi like? I really."
I'm going to get them out of here.
So
I just
everybody,
need you protecting them in the front.
So everybody, we need you to proceed calmly and carefully up towards the upper level. Watch out for crushing people because that guy's head is not in good condition. Oh, hi, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah. And I release them from my grasp.
Yeah, and everybody begins to move calmly and carefully. No, it's like a fire alarm in a mall. Everybody's just kind of like still trying to get out, but it's a little less.
They're kind of like zipper lining it,
a little
right?
less violently now.
So I would say that ended positively for you.
Yep, I'll take a positive one.
Okay,
so give that away. We both have positives. So
Yeah, I mean,
I actually would disagree. I think that Teebo is supposed to be like teaching Squib.
and so far the teaching
And
hasn't.
so far, he's just been taking over every time Squib is in trouble.
that's kind of true. Like this was like a teachable moment, but then he kind of just got frustrated and instead did it himself.
Yeah,
Which is not which is kind of why he got like in trouble in the first place.
Right.
Was just kind of
Well,
not helping.
it was a
his
bad ending
Padawan.
because Squib sucks so much.
Fair enough.
well, there we go.
You made me fail. Well, this is the test. This is like
I'm starting
He
to
has
think
to-
Dan might be the bad guy.
I have to get through my own adversity of like dealing with
Yeah.
someone like that is
Annoying.
not akin to this kind of stuff for
Mhm.
sure.
Okay, so I'm going to establish a scene for Zlippa.
Last scene of scene 1.
As the trio are moving up towards the escape pods, Zlippa feels a buzzing in his jacket pocket and hears a bleep 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 bleep, and he like quickly silences it and looks up and sees that Teebo and Squib are still kind of moving along, and he ducks behind like a locker or into like a doorway or something like that, and pulls the communicator out, opens it up, and a little holographic image of an Imperial officer appears. And the stern voice of Admiral Aquana blurts out, "Zlippa, have you achieved your objective yet?" No, not yet, sir. I'm working on it. I'm currently with the Jedi. I'm gonna make sure that I get their lightsaber. Don't worry, I will be able to add it to the collection. I need more time. Your distraction was great, but I need more time.
Ooh.
And the Admiral replies, "You are running out of time. I can only hold back the super lasers for so long. My men have happy trigger fingers." And I snap shut the communicator and rejoins you guys as you finally arrive up at the bay of escape pods, which are currently being filled up by just like hordes of panicked passengers. Zlippa is trying to rejoin you, but you guys are further ahead, and you've got separated from the crowd while he was on the phone. He is trying to cross this like madhouse and get back to you. I think that's my establishment.
Okay. I want to establish like a planet that we're nearby. What would be
Okay.
a good planet? What I'm terrible with.
Does it
planet
matter?
names.
We already said like Coruscant.
Well, that was where
the
you were
flashback.
before. So,
I
like,
don't think
this
they're
is-
firing at us at Coruscant.
It's like Fallujah or something.
Sure, let's go with
Flotaria.
Flablaria. Yeah.
Flaberia. Okay, it's a
You're visiting-
jungle planet with some
it's
population on
My
it.
planet.
It's your planet.
It's
with
your planet.
It's like
You're going home.
full of swamps and mushroom
Yay.
toadstools and
Yep, and disgusting blobs. Lots of
It's like-
disgusting blobs.
All my
ruled by the algae kings of the black bubbles.
Mhm.
and all my middle school bullies.
All right.
There are 26 of them.
All right. So at the front of the line, you see Teebo and Squib, and they're ushering like a lot of women and children into this one pod, and then you see them basically climb inside and close the hatch.
Okay.
But Squib is like, wait, but what about our friend?
Oh, I'm positive he'll find his way.
Yeah, but
There's only one way to go here, and we need to protect these people.
I don't know. I thought he was way behind us. I'm just going to check if he's like out in the hall. And Squib just goes out, completely ignoring Teebo. He's like, I don't know your name, but where are you?
There's like 80 people like milling back and forth and like screaming and shouting, and like there's like this little girl beside you who's like, Mom.
Yeah,
Mom!
and you see pods starting to jettison out already. And then this is when I grab Squib, pull him inside, and hit the button myself.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'm going to separate us, but
No,
there's
that's
only
cool.
one place to go.
And Squib looks really sad, and he has his tentacle out, and he's reaching through the pod, and he sees Zlippa.
Like Zlippa's face like slams up against the glass, like makes eye contact with you just as the escape pod like
Jettisons towards the planet side.
I like that a lot. Okay, that's definitely negative for me.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's Dan. There you go.
I did kind of leave it
Yeah,
out.
you did leave me on purpose.
Okay, so that is the end of Act 1. Okay, so welcome to the tilt. Everybody roll your dice.
Big money, big money. -4.
So I got -3.
I got a 7.
Okay, so it's going to be, since Shaun got the highest positive and Dan got the highest negative, you guys are going to be choosing some tilt elements.
We're tilt masters.
Okay. I can choose from mayhem, tragedy, innocence, guilt, paranoia, or failure. Do I use these dice? Do I just roll twice and pick?
Sure.
I'll just do that. Failure. And then I roll again. And I got...
Sounds right up
shit,
Squib's alley.
Oh, shit. Fear leads to a fateful decision.
Innocence. I'm going to go with collateral damage.
Ooh, I like that.
It seems fitting for what's happening right now.
So innocence, collateral damage.
So with these scenes, when you are given a dice, you just keep that dice. It's not given away.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you resolve, you're picking, and if other people resolve, they're picking the dice.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, our 2 tilt elements are failure, fear leads to a fateful decision, and innocence, collateral damage.
Okay. Do we go in the same order?
We can
I'm
switch up the order.
I'm trying to remember, how do we actually use the tilts?
So the tilts are just elements that are going to come into play. So it's kind of up to us to bring
push
these
them in.
into,
Yeah. Okay.
into
So,
play.
like, if we recap, what have we used already? We know we've got the Imperial blockade. Obviously,
Yes.
we've hit on the Padawan and Master
Yes.
relationship. I've tried to hide the Jedi Knights from the Stormtroopers. Like I the con man and the mark. Like I feel like that kind of happened already.
It's kind of strange though. Like you'd think like those guys would be in on it too, though, since you're working for the guy who's like on the.
But at the time, you didn't know that,
That's true.
right? At the
Okay.
time, I was conning
Yeah, so
you.
it was-
I'm conning you into thinking I'm not a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I helped hide you, etc. The bounty hunter mark element has already come into play. The double-bladed lightsaber kind of still on the table. We've established that you have one,
Yeah, you've seen it, and you know you
and
want it.
I know that I need it.
Yeah.
And that I'm not just me that wants it. I actually owe it to somebody.
Yeah, you're working for somebody.
We could still bring in a Jedi Knight. We don't actually have like a Jedi Knight
Well,
established.
yeah.
I think we can.
technically,
I'm
you
a
guys
knight
are-
as well.
Yeah.
Technically, you're a knight.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, we can establish some innocent bystander that is collateral damage for whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Okay, well, this all was a distraction meant to. These things have already happened. I just did all of that with the last scene. Okay, so collateral damage and fear leads to a fateful decision. So that fear, there's a dark side element right there.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to start this time? Or are we just starting with
fear
Shubert?
leading to a fateful decision? Him like
it could be one of you guys
leaving
like touching the dark side or something like that. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I think that I'm willing to start, but I want to resolve the scene.
Oh boy.
So it's a scene about Zlippa. We have just seen you guys get away from the ship on your drop pod. Zlippa's still on the ship, and he needs to get down to you somehow.
Yeah. So I think Zlippa should have to make a fateful choice, basically. He has to basically sacrifice somebody to claim their spot on one of the escape pods.
Mm-hmm.
So what about that little girl that we saw earlier?
The one you picked up or something?
The one that was crying for mom.
Crying for her mom.
Yeah.
You see her on one of the escape pods, and she's just made it in, and she's holding the hand of her mother.
Yeah. She's got a sweet aisle seat.
And you still see the tears that had been rolling down her cheeks, but she doesn't look like she's crying anymore. She looks happy as she looks up at her mother. And Zlippa sees that these two are...
Shit's so dark.
This is going to be the shortest scene and also the darkest scene.
Is it too dark? I mean,
it's pretty dark. But
Star Wars gets dark though.
There's some villains in this world.
I feel like we have to establish.
I think that man, I almost want to do like the fireplace pan with it though, like the
it's just
Master Skywalker. What are we supposed to do? Like,
it's just implied that
totally.
Okay,
now you can't. This is a PG movie. You can't put that.
Okay,
on screen. so Zlippa,
you like grab.
So you have established that this is the last escape pod.
Yes,
and there is like
she's
this
at
happy
the door by the
reunited
exit,
family,
basically,
and they look over like a shadow like fills or covers the light coming through from the main bay, and they look up and like with like surprise and like wonderment in their eyes as they see this Rhodian step through with his blaster rifle in hand. And as at first they're like, like, hooray, we're gonna make it out of here, and then they see the expression on his face, on Zlippa's face.
We could have you make a choice though,
and their expression darkens.
You could say something along the lines of like, it's either you or your mother, or it's either you or your child, or something like that. One of you staying behind. You have to make them make the choice.
Badass. Yeah.
It's even darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we have
Sophie's choice.
We have like a kid. I assume you're going to kick off the mother.
There's no seatbelts left, right? And so Zlippa steps through. He's got his gun. They both look up in fear, and I think the mom is just like, keep her safe. And then like the camera like shoots back out to the main bay, and you just hear and like a cry.
Wait, you shot the mother?
Yeah,
Jesus.
better that than burn alive. And then like,
I think I'd rather blow up in the spaceship myself, but just saying.
Too late.
Yeah, apparently.
Zlippa shot her.
Okay.
I'm the villain.
Now that's dark.
Yeah. He didn't have to kill anybody, but he's like, I'm going to shoot her.
Zlippa gains 10 dark side points.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Holy.
Yeah.
Well, that was a negative. I'm just going to give that to you.
Yeah. I've got that.
Yeah, you murdered a mother.
I feel like you guys wrote me into a great corner there. Okay.
We sure did.
Fun.
That's what happens when you let us establish.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my scene.
All right.
That's good.
That's a good scene, actually.
Yeah.
Short but sweet.
You've
really
learned
good.
a lot about Zlippa just now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so our escape pod is, you see it hurtling towards the very small planet of Flobaloria, a planet covered in swamp and marsh and jungle. The ship gets closer and closer until finally it makes a very rough landing into a marsh, and the inhabitants of the pod step out, and Teebo kind of pushes up Squib out of the pod first, to kind of let him assess the swamp that they're about to go into. And Squib sees this swamp in front of him, and he looks for the first time really happy. And he's like, "Oh boy!" And he jumps in.
I've never seen you smile before, so it frightens Teebo.
That's, I guess, me establishing the scene.
Okay, so while you're doing that, Teebo is actually still in the escape pod, and it's sinking into the ground, and he sees unconscious people that didn't handle the landing very well.
Teebo like hit his head as they landed, and he's like unconscious.
He established that I pushed Squib out.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
I'm not unconscious. That'd be interesting, though.
I do like that. We should maybe do that later.
Okay.
But
knock me unconscious?
Make you unconscious.
That'll be fun for me to role play.
True.
Right.
Force Ghost.
Okay, so there are other innocents.
There are innocents that are unconscious on the escape pod.
And it's slowly sinking.
Yeah, and Squib is nowhere in sight. Like, you just literally blend in with the swamp when you jumped in, so...
So Teebo's like trying to like force lift it out.
He's trying that, but he also took some damage from the fall as well.
Yeah.
And he's really struggling with that. So he's actually taking out his lightsaber. He's cutting apart like seat belts and stuff, and destroying people's harnesses and literally tossing their bodies outside.
So as Teebo is in there attempting to like rescue some of these unconscious or injured people that are inside the pod, suddenly from outside you hear like this, like, and Squib looks back to see this huge creature, like tentacular, like slimy, giant, like elephant-sized, like body of like just mush, like come out of the swamp and start wrapping itself around the pod and starts dragging it down into the swamp.
All right, and Teebo sees Squib outside the pod as well from a distance, and knowing that the escape pod's about to be basically dragged underwater, he hurls his double-bladed lightsaber to Squib.
It lands at Squib's feet. Squib looks down at it, and the scene ends. So, is this is that a positive or a negative?
It's for Squib. Keep in mind,
for Squib. Yeah,
it's for Squib's character. So it's. I would think it's positive because he's on his home planet. There's an
element of hope
you're
here.
You're not fully aware of the situation.
The music, the Star Wars music, is swelling in the background,
and he's finally been given an opportunity to be like to do something.
Yeah. You need to show some force here.
So now it's a Teebo scene.
I think I'll let you guys establish just for fun.
Okay, so I think that this is where we do a cut to a flashback.
Okay.
So this is Teebo in his earlier years with his old Padawan. This is the maybe the moment of his failure previously.
I like that.
So this is in the midst of the Clone Wars. Teebo fighting alongside clone troopers on a desert planet. There are these giant spires of rock in the distance. There is like droidicas like coming at them from the distance. The clone troopers are setting up their position. They're establishing like these like force field generators. And beside Teebo is his Padawan, a strong and capable young man, probably like a one of the ones with the tentacle heads.
I don't know. I was thinking this guy would just be like your typical like human guy. Like
it's just like the side pony and everything.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be like your young Obi-Wan. Totally.
Okay, so there they are, about to face down this droid army, and Teebo just has this like pit in his stomach where like there's something wrong with the Force, and he's got a bad feeling about the next 10 minutes.
Okay, I can run with that. I think one of you can play my Padawan for sure.
Yeah, I'll play your Padawan so I can do a different voice.
A comparison to Squib.
Yeah.
All right, Master Teebo, droidicus incoming. What do you want us to set up?
All right. So how are they coming in exactly?
There's like the big ones that turn into the shields.
Yeah.
And there's the little ones with they just say Roger, Roger all the time. They're coming right at us in between those two rocks over there.
All right. So this is going to be one of Teebo's critical mistakes. He's going to send, what should we name our Padawan? What's your name, Padawan?
Baden.
Baden?
Baden.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. Teebo thinking that Baden is trained enough that he can handle his own like platoon essentially, or at least group of men. So Baden, you take the right flank, I'll take the left.
I've got it, Master.
And
Are you certain about that, Master Teebo?
Baden can handle himself. I've seen him.
We've handled droidicus before.
The clone troopers give you a salute.
Yeah.
And they split into two groups.
Yeah, and I take you with me, whatever your name is. Aussie guy. Not Aussie guy. New Zealand
Clone
guy.
Trooper 106 antenna.
What?
106 antenna.
106 antenna?
Yeah.
Okay, 106 it is. All right. So 106 and Teebo head off in the other direction.
So you're like working your way up along this rocky ridge. You can see the droids coming in below you. You know that they have like this critical juncture point where they have to go in between you and Baden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see that we're almost like flanking them, but they have a lot larger numbers, obviously. So we're actually getting pushed further and further apart. And as well as my team is doing, we can tell we're being flooded from like both sides. So we actually managed to get cornered on that cliffside, and Baden's getting pushed further and further down the ridge.
And then one of those Roger droids jumps out. I don't know what they're actually called.
Battle droid.
Battle droids. Yeah, he comes. The battle droid comes out of the main flank or the main company. He's got a rocket launcher over his shoulder.
Oh my god!
And he aims it at Teebo in 106.
Oh my god!
You mean Baden in 106?
No, at Teebo.
Because we're together, right?
Yeah,
106.
No, 106 is with Teebo, is what he said.
Is that what we were saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So Baden has his own group, and he's being pushed down further on the ridge.
Okay. Sorry.
And then it pulls the trigger, and this rocket starts to careen up towards you. And 106 is like, incoming!
And I drop my lightsaber, and I start forcing the missile in another trajectory. And I end up pushing it against the side of the cliff, and it creates like this rock slide that's headed straight towards Baden.
Shit.
Who's resolving this again?
He is.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to go badly because you lost your last.
Yeah,
Padawan
I literally
due to
accidentally
your own kind
kill
of
Baden, essentially.
Yeah.
The rock slide is like obviously way more than anyone can handle, even my Padawan, and it ends up crushing him and all of his platoon.
You killed your own Padawan.
Yeah, I killed my own Padawan.
That's definitely a black die.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Teebo just looks on from the distance as the dust settles and all this mountain of rocks is now where Baden was.
Well, it also killed like a bunch of droids in that slide as well, so it's kind of calmed down since then. Like we managed to take out the rest of them. But
yeah, I thought you were going to say so. It's a win-win.
You win some, you lose some, right?
Lost a Padawan, but
killed a few droids.
Killed some droids.
Yeah, like the rubble clears and the smoke clears and all the droids are dealt with, and you've got like half of your clone troopers left, and you see that there's your Padawan like half crushed, and like you can see his
buried
face
in the rubble.
His like face is like it's like Game of Thrones, where like he's like perfectly half out of the
It's not
rocks,
like
and you can
Game of
tell that it's him.
Yeah, except his brains are smeared along the rocks. Just
PG.
yeah, his eyeballs are like hanging out.
PG.
Okay,
It's never been PG.
And he's completely naked for some reason.
There's just leeches coming off of him.
Yeah. And then the grenade on his satchel explodes.
One thing after another.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to establish, and you guys can resolve this. So we cut back to Teebo attempting to like force lift, and or not force lift, but like get these innocent bystanders out of the escape pod. And the tentacle creatures, having to pull the pod down into the swamp at the same time. And he's thrown the lightsaber and lands at Squib's feet, and Squib is just picking it up when a shadow falls across him, and Zlippa comes out of the swamp, blaster trained on the young Padawan, and he says, Look, little guy, I know that we had our fun in the past. We had those the drinks and everything, and we helped all those people off the ship, but I really need that lightsaber. And I think I'm also supposed to kill the both of you, so let's just get this over with.
But I have to use it to kill this monster to save these people.
Yeah, but if the monster does my job for me, then it saves me a little bit of time. Lifts the blaster up to trains it on Squib, goes to pull the trigger.
No.
And that's my establishment. What do you guys do?
Please don't slay me.
I want this almost to play out just with Squib alone.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll speak to you like through our past training or something like that. Yeah.
I feel like maybe you have like this like force message comes into Squib's mind and is like,
yeah, I'm like, focus, Squib. Focus. Pick up the lightsaber.
And Squib listens to the voice. Squib picks up the lightsaber.
It like force jumps off the ground into his hand.
Yeah, totally.
Somehow.
And Squib looks at Zlippa right in his beady little Rhodesian eyes.
Nice.
That's really racist.
It's really racist.
They're quite large eyes, actually. I'll have you know.
In his large, beautiful Rhodesian eyes.
Oh, why, thank you.
And he just chucks the double-ended lightsaber right at Zlippa.
Oh, okay.
Unignited, the lightsaber collides with Zlippa, knocking him backwards. The blaster fire like rockets off into the sky, and he like falls back over a rock into the swamp, and now they're both like rolling around, attempting to fight each other in the mud.
And then you hear another voice. Me again, obviously. Teebo here.
Just checking in. Just checking in with some force chat here.
Yeah. Squib, look around you. Use your surroundings.
I'm literally in a swamp. There's mud everywhere.
Hey, you're a swamp creature.
Yeah.
This is your home turf.
That's right. Squib hears this voice and listens again. He reaches out and he knows that there's all kinds of creatures in the swamp. If he can just grab the tail of a snapping turtle.
You mean a snapping
Florg monster.
Florg monster. There you go.
a snapping Florg.
Yeah.
He closes his eyes. He reaches out with the force and tries to sense around him. And he reaches out one of his tentacly arms and grabs onto the tail of this turtle-like creature. He whips it around right at Zlippa's face. And it just chomps right down
Onto my proboscis.
onto your proboscis. Which for the listeners
is like a Rhodian's mouth. It's kind of like an insectoid proboscis.
beautiful.
Yeah. Like a fly.
Is this like fatal or is this?
No, this was your scene, right?
This is my scene. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys are resolving for Zlippa.
I think that the resolution to the scene is that he has
At least nullified you or like dealt with you in a way. So you like Zlippa falls back into the swamp and you don't see where he goes from that point.
Right. Like a falls over the cliff type Star Wars.
Yeah, or like
Star
when
Wars
Luke
thing.
gets pulled into the trash compactor or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, just disappears for a time.
I forget the last time you see Boba Fett, but I feel like it's kind of like
He
that.
falls into it.
Right.
Falls into the
Yeah,
Sarlacc,
so
yeah.
Zlippa falls into the swamp with the snapping Florg
Yeah.
latched onto his
And
proboscis.
thrashing around. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a
That's a good end.
yeah. Uh-oh.
The next scene kind of has to end positively for Squib.
Hey, it's not bad.
And are you establishing or resolving?
I will. Do you guys have any ideas? I'll let you establish if you do.
Well, there's a bunch
two
going on
conflicts right
there.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of got to resolve one of them. So like you could either establish in terms of like you're setting up what Squib is doing, and we
Yeah.
decide how successful he is.
Yeah.
So there's Zlippa, who is obviously still a threat in some
Mhm.
capacity, and then there's
I think Zlippa is kind of like not a super
at the moment no.
threat. Yeah.
But there's Teebo. He's
I
his,
think the main threat is this like swamp creature and
That's-
saving the people from it.
yeah. So maybe you've already stepped up once. Maybe you can continue.
But Squib, having dealt with his enemy, he feels kind of a sense of pride, and he's like saying in his head to Teebo, he's like, "I did it, master! I did it!"
Great job, Squib. Great job.
And he kind of swims / runs through the swamp back towards this
Squib, bring me my
huge
lightsaber.
monster.
Bring the lightsaber.
Grabbing the lightsaber on the way. He sees just a glint of it in the mud, and he grabs it on the way and goes over to this to all these people who are trying to get away from this monster. And Squib says, "Don't worry, I know how to talk to it."
Of course
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah. Okay, Squib.
That's
Squib,
my,
do what you can. Yeah.
that's my establishing the scene.
Okay.
You guys have to choose how that works out for Squib.
All right. I think Squib's gonna toss down the lightsaber into
He like tosses it to Teebo.
to me. So there's still the escape hatch or whatever that I threw Squib out through originally.
Yeah.
So he tosses it down there, and that's kind of like the last thing that's gonna get sucked under.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
gonna
it like goes plink, 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 and like bounces off of
Yeah.
seats as it like
Yeah,
rolls
and-
down to where Teebo is like unlatching the last person.
yeah, and none of these people are out. They're just kind of hanging on to their seats, and we're literally about to hit that point where water's going to
You know,
start.
like mud starts like flowing in through the opening.
exactly. And then
And now it's like filling up in beside you, and all of this stuff is like filling up the inside, and the mud is like climbing up to your knees and then up to your waist, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And then there's Squib, and he's out in the swamp, like just like reaching out with his hands, reaching out with the force, attempting to communicate with the organisms around him.
and then he puts on one of his clammy tentacles onto one of the creatures, and he starts speaking to it.
And then I just picture like this whole like flood of like these tiny little like little centipedes and like things with like heads that are too big, but like 17 legs, and like there's like some like frog creatures with like spikes on them. They just all start like hopping out like these giant swarms. Like
So he's calling in all the
yeah, it's
creatures.
like Ace Ventura 2 when all the birds land on his arms.
So he's doing like a call out essentially to
Yeah.
everything in the
And
surrounding area.
And then all of these creatures just like flood forward and like dive under the mud, and they start like, you'll get like this like cross section view of under the surface of the swamp as all these creatures like go down to the bottom of the pod and start pushing back up against it.
Sweet. I like that. Anything else we want to establish before this?
I don't think so. I think that
No, that seems pretty good. And maybe we should just figure out are you actually talking to that big monster as well? Do you think?
I don't know if he is. I don't know.
Are you just fighting back against it like
I
with the
think
other
I
creatures?
go over to it, and I'm just kind of Squib speaks some swamp language to it, and he's just kind of like, "Hey, why don't you just kind of relax and like stop attacking the people?"
Okay, so it's ineffective. Got it.
A tentacle like
Yeah.
whaps off and like slams down right next to Squib, just missing him.
Yeah. But what you had done with your
yeah, the
Your force
pod
connecting.
is being forced back out of the mud, and just as like he was getting up to like people's necks, like just in time.
So Squib has somehow kind of like tapped in to
you found a power you didn't know you had, basically, which is kind of communing with nature, essentially.
Very cool.
I like it.
All right, and for Teebo. So
Okay.
last scene.
The next scene, I'm thinking, will still be on the planet because I still want to get Zlippa in another scene.
Okay.
And that'll be kind of like the conclusion to that because I don't feel like that's settled, but we can skip to where we've like got everyone out and safe and where maybe in one of the cities that's on this planet.
Yeah.
Like a
The
swamp.
Florbalarian capital.
Or let's say a village, nothing like huge or anything.
Oh no, it's the capital. It's a Florbalarian swamp village.
Okay.
It looks awful.
It's not big, but it is
It's
the
still a
capital.
town.
There's three buildings.
Yeah.
They
Nice.
all look like piles of mud.
Okay, so let's say, from what we can gather, everyone has been successfully taken out of the escape pod. From what I can tell, Zlippa is nowhere in sight. We've made our way back to
Florp.
Yeah, Florp, the capital, the hub of all knowledge on this planet,
Which isn't much.
Yeah, I see that they've learned how to make stairs.
Incredible.
It's just rocks
Genius.
stacked on top of each other.
Incredible advancement.
Yeah,
Next up, ramps.
here we go. Yeah, smoother rocks. That's a wheel, I think. And I'm talking with the locals there and trying to figure out if they have some sort of communication to hopefully get us off planet. And Squib he's more vocal now. He's speaking to the survivors and stuff, and he's actually connecting with them and showing them around town and, trying to make them feel comfortable. He's actually like somewhat in his own now. And yeah, I think that kind of establishes the scene. Yeah.
Starting to kind of come out of his shell.
Exactly. Like after just saving them, people actually want to talk to Squib now.
Yeah.
And they want to know about his planet and
His newfound confidence.
yeah, exactly.
So as you guys are like there with the villagers and having a good time and just kind of getting settled, the camera pans over to see a Rhodian hand like part some of the vines of the swamp, and Zlippa with just his holdout blaster, and he's like cradling a wounded arm and a wounded leg, like limp into town, comes around a corner and sees the Jedi there, and he trains his blaster on them. That's it. This is the last straw. You don't have any lightsabers or creatures out here to save you this time. You're gonna give me that lightsaber, and you're gonna stay right where you are, you little mud creature freak.
That's not very nice.
And I force communicate with Squib. I'm like, do you think you can handle this?
I can handle this.
You got this, Squib?
And Squib pulls out his training lightsaber and proceeds to put it in front of him the same way that he did in the hallway with the stormtroopers.
And Zlippa just begins to like let off shot after shot. Chew, chew, chew. And pew, pew. And each bolt like goes like, even though that Zlippa is like trying to like aim at like different
Yeah,
parts.
like he's a marksman, but
Yeah.
for some reason
They just keep going and like hitting this like perfectly still lightsaber that just kind of like slightly wobbles each time he gets hit with a bolt.
and
He doesn't understand what's going on.
it's you almost looking at it in like slow motion. You actually see Squib. He's not bending his lightsaber. He's actually adjusting every one of Zlippa's shots.
Yeah,
He's messing with his gun as he's holding it.
arcing through the air.
Yeah. Or do you think he's changing the laser shot, or is he changing the gun?
He's like tapping the gun with the force.
That's what I was thinking. He's
Totally.
literally just nudging Zlippa's arms and stuff, and
Yeah.
all of his shots are firing directly at Squib's lightsaber.
Totally. And then just as Zlippa runs, he's just like a little too close now that like the small little adjustments that are happening are not going to be enough. And a bolt shoots just past the lightsaber, hitting Squib in the shoulder.
All right. And then Teebo's going to step in at this point
Yeah.
and push Squib into the fight. No. Actually, he's not going to do that. He's going to reach out and say, Squib, do you still have this?
Maybe I could use some help.
I'm here for you. And
But I think it's not Teebo that comes to the aid. I think instead it's Squib's connection to the force and connection to the creatures of the planet that come to his aid.
yeah, I think you can maybe channel your other powers.
I was just kind of thinking, because it's a scene in for Teebo.
Mhm.
So I was thinking it would be kind of cool if they like the It's almost like like a good moral or whatever, where it's like
maybe
we kind of join forces. We're like back
totally.
to back.
So while you're deflecting the bolts, Teebo actually reaches out to the creatures of the planet and starts trying to.
Nice. He's kind of learned from Squib.
Exactly. He's taking
Wow.
something. So he
I love
starts, the vines slowly start wrapping around
Zlippa's legs.
And that name's so hard to say. I have to like look at your sheet every freaking time.
It's just Zlippa.
Zlippa.
And then the vines like creep up Zlippa's legs, wrapping around him. Suddenly he realizes that like he's trapped, and it just pulls him down, slams him into the ground, and then drag him out into
And
the
he's
jungle.
just disappeared, basically.
Gone forever.
Yeah.
Or is he?
Okay, bye. It was nice meeting you.
And then Teebo and Squib like clasps hands in a familial handshake. Like something has grown between them. But this bond, this true master and Padawan experience, has brought them together.
And for the first time, you don't like secrete something. It's
And
just
for the first time, Teebo doesn't cringe away.
yeah. I'll take it.
Do we want to do some quick after
Absolutely.
scenes?
Just one quick afterbirth.
Here's one quick afterbirth for you.
That was a pretty solid arc, guys. I like that.
That was actually
That was awesome.
I was a little worried where it was going, and then it really wrapped up nicely.
It had some morals and stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, I got probably one of the worst possible rolls.
So that's one. Yeah,
It's
four. No, it's
It's a
positive
high one.
Yeah.
So yeah, a positive one,
all right, I'll roll mine.
which is like a terrible thing. You want to get a really high result.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
-8.
Oh, that's really good.
That's real good.
I got a -3.
Sorry, I'll get my.
Okay, so Squib got a +1, and that means that his end is dreadful.
Oh no.
According to the book, according to the rules, it says you are certainly dead, probably from a self-inflicted wound. People you care about are also probably dead. Maybe through, we could do, since we kind of had like a more easygoing ending, there's like a slightly less intense version of
I think
this.
it needs to be
Let's try it.
Well, we deal with like.
yeah, but like how does
it
that
doesn't
make,
really
how does it
fit,
make sense
so,
for the
yeah.
story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just try this. I've never tried this before. This is the soft aftermath. So
Going in soft.
You love it.
It's like a catchphrase now. Put that on a shirt.
Please. Yeah, for our next shirt. Going in soft.
Wait. Let me go inside.
Oh man. Okay, so my end. Squib's end is astonishing. People didn't think it was even possible to be as reviled as you are. But you proved them wrong. Seems so fitting. You'll wear the world's contempt for the rest of your life. Are you in jail, protective custody, or a disguise? Probably. Is your life and the lives of those you care about completely ruined? Definitely. So I think
This makes so much sense though.
Yeah.
You're a Jedi fugitive.
Yeah. And you've just like endangered your planet because story's going to spread that there was a Jedi on this planet.
I think that Squib has like rescued this small group of people, but very soon the village of Florp is like some troopers come into the village of Florp and tell them that they're looking for Jedis, and very soon the people of Florblaria are kind of turned against Squib and all Jedis, and they are on the run
Yet
in
again.
the swamps.
Mm.
I like that.
They stay on the planet, but they they're fugitives. They
Okay.
can't.
Mhm.
They're not trusted. They can't go back
Yeah.
to where their
Looking
loved ones
for
were.
a possible way out.
I like that. And what's cool is I can establish like what happens after that even.
Yeah.
'cause
Mhm.
Hopefully I have a positive ending, but we'll do Shaun
Let's do
next. We'll
Zlippa
go
first,
next,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so Zlippa is -3, and that is extremely awful.
That seems
Let me
worse
read it.
than what you had.
Whatever you care about is gone. That's for sure. You're probably also missing a tooth. I have a proboscis. I don't have teeth. What's the other one?
Your face got bitten, though.
I mean, I do feel like that's a.
I don't have teeth. Give me
I'm just curious. I want to.
You can read that too.
Harsh. Shit in a bag, harsh. A lifetime of medication, harsh. A big black cloud of hurt is going to rain down all over you. The things you need to happen are not going to. Simple as that. I think that makes sense for Zlippa. He failed in his mission for the Empire. He is stranded on this planet. He's come up against these Jedi twice unsuccessfully. I don't think he has high hopes for a third attempt.
He's injured.
He's injured. He's out of his element. These swamp creatures are harassing him from every end. His main goal is to get off this planet, but even then, he's a doomed man. He's failed the Empire. He's not going to be able to work. He's not going to be able to get more contracts. He's probably got a bounty of his own on him.
He's wanted by both sides now.
Totally, yeah.
Fitting.
All right.
And Dan, Teebo's end.
A -8. So this one's encouraging.
Nice. I'll
What's
read
the other
that.
one?
The other one is nothing to write home about
What? How's that not like amazing?
because there is no like good ending really in this, unless you get like a 12.
All right. I'll read this one and I'll take a look at the other one.
Okay.
All right. So I rolled a -8, which is encouraging. Sure, you're no better off than you were. Maybe things are actually worse, but there's hope. And that slender reed is something you can cling to.
That makes so much sense.
That's awesome.
That's pretty fitting, actually. So,
Even up to the reed. I mean, we're in a
You're in a swamp. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
Teebo and his Padawan, he's kind of redeemed in a way. He was able to succeed where he failed before. His Padawan is learning and growing.
yeah, he's taken more steps than he ever did with Baden, basically.
Yeah, and you've
And-
learned from your Padawan as well.
And this seems like a perfect environment for like training, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're gonna hide out on this planet together, and they're gonna learn from each other. Basically, you're gonna teach me about this world and nature and stuff. I've never really been in tune with that kind of, but we know that now that is your strength. Basically, is your
Your connection to
Yeah.
living things.
Exactly.
The living force.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I thought it was my charisma.
Mm. you have other strengths.
Nice.
Thanks for listening to The Rise of Bob. Artwork in this episode was created by me, Trevor, of trevorgieske.com. Audio production was provided by Astronomic Audio, the podcast production and distribution company that makes big ideas sound even bigger. Music was produced by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0. House of Bob is made possible by our amazing Patreon supporters, Ray Kearney, Tom Weasley, Rob, L Bucket 12, Jessica, Kieran Duffy, Mike from the Tales of the Glass Guarded World podcast, Sylvia Douglas, Luke Conroy, and Volt. And if you'd like to be part of making this podcast possible, visit patreon.com/The House of Bob.
We'd like to offer our thanks to everybody supporting us on Patreon, including Spanks McCranks,
Keep spanking away, Cranks.